Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all fine. To my left or on your right, it is Mr. Luke. So, hello Luke.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm very well. Spurs. At home, are you looking forward to it?
I am looking forward to it.
I mean, after the two performances against Everton and against Winsborough, it should have been 2 wins, but it weren't. I mean, does it give you a lot more confidence going into Spurs, or will Spurs be the big test, first big test that we're going to come up against?
Um, Spurs is the biggest name-wise we've played,
Mm.
or we're going to play. But I still wouldn't say it's going to be as difficult as people make out because they're not great at the back.
Mm. I thought that last week, to be fair, when I watched them.
If you get at them and then hit the ball across Lloris instead of kind of down to his near post, I reckon you can score a few against Lloris because Wolves were going to that small gap of which you're not going to score. If you go across to the bigger gap, you're more likely to score.
Mm.
And I think with our players and the way we play, getting in with like Dyer and Ben Davis, they're not that quick.
Yeah. You think? I mean, that's a good thing. Because watching them against Wolves last week, they weren't the best, and it sort of showed me, like your Spurs and all that. If they had goals scored like they have for Kane, to get them out of trouble. I mean, Wolves were quite unlucky not to get something out of Spurs last week.
They were to a point.
Mm.
The fact is, if you don't take your chances, you're not going to win games.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. They didn't score, and then this leaves it open for a Kane goal to happen.
Mm. Yeah, true. I mean, the team. I mean, I'm interested to hear your point on this about who would you play against Spurs, because obviously we've seen sort of two different levels, and there have been some really good performances from it.
I think the back five will stay the same as against Everton because as much as Joe Worrell's been getting a lot of stick, you know what you're going to get from Joe Worrell. He's not miraculously going to find pace, so it's pointless slagging him off for his pace because we all well know Joe Worrell is not going to be the quickest defender in the league. But then again, to really berate him for that goal was wrong because it wasn't just Joe Worrell that wasn't back there defending when that ball came across. The whole back three pushed up, which then gave the space. If we'd have dropped back a little bit, then you know you'd have probably been able to cut the gap down, and Henderson would have been able to have gone to a better position.
Yeah.
So I think the back five will stay the same. I think midfield wise, again Mangala O'Brien, and then you can probably put Freuler on with 70 minutes gone. The front three, I'd like to see Gibbs White, Lingard, Johnson, but we'll see whether Cooper's throwing out one of those red herrings again.
Mm. That's interesting. I mean, I've been asking quite a few fans about it. About this, I've been throwing Sam Surridge into the mix a little bit with him scoring twice in midweek, and I've been saying that would you give him that chance even though he scored twice on Tuesday? I mean, opposition it's different. But I mean, for strike of confidence, Storm tries with your own two shots, would you throw him
The,
straight back in?
the the thing is, we've got 3 games in 6 days, so
Yeah.
the realism of it is you are not going to be able to use the same team for all 3 games. Perulo will start one of the 3 games. Sam Surridge will play one of the 3 games. Emmanuel Dennis will come in and play one of the 3 games.
Mm.
Purely for the fact that Lingard's not fully fit
Yeah.
and Mangala's got fatigued against Everton.
Mm.
And really, to be honest, you're not going to be signing players like Dennis to just sit him on the bench and bring him on.
Mm.
But at the same time, those players that played against West Ham, no, Everton, sorry, have had 8 days to basically do training because we've not played a league game for 8 days or 7, 8 days, and there's only Taiwo Awoniyi that was in the squad for the Everton game that was then on the bench for the Grimsby game.
Yeah.
So I reckon that you'll stick the same team out more or less for one, and then for the next one, you'll probably see a few changes to City just to keep energy levels up
Mm.
before you put out a fairly similar team again for Bournemouth.
Yeah. That is true. To be fair, it's just interesting to hear the different thoughts about it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, what would you say Spurs' front three keeps them in games now? Because he spoke on about the defense not the best. Would you say their main point is the attack?
Well, come on. They have obviously invested in trying to score more goals than could they concede.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong, Hoiberg, Bissouma, Bentancur, and I think I got fourth in that middle, but I can't remember now. The ones they have in that middle of the park, they
Mm.
do a lot of work. But Kane, Son, Kulusevski are probably just on the day are just as effective as Gibbs White, Johnson, Lingard. I mean, you you got to look at it and think that's a bit of a mad statement. But if you've got them all on top form, scoring goals like they did in the Championship or Lingard at other clubs, arguably they are as dangerous as Kane, Son, Kulusevski. It's just they aren't as consistent.
Mm.
We will see how our back five deals with their front three. If we can pick up Son, Kulusevski, and really, really make Kane come into midfield to get the ball, at which point we'll probably have overturned it anyway and gone forward. If you keep attacking their back line, they're not going to have the ball to score. We just got to make the ground as electric as it was against West Ham because
Mm.
our atmospheres will actually intimidate some teams. Not saying it will be Spurs, but it'll get into some teams' heads. It
Yeah.
certainly did for West Ham.
Oh, worked massively against West Ham. Um, that's something as well. The fan base being the 12th man, as we call it. I mean, it's shown against West Ham. I mean, Spurs probably got that sort of. mentality what they had against being in European games and all that. They're used to that hostile crowd, which I mean that will only be a big difference for us. I mean, for us, 100%.
Definitely.
Mm. And what's your score prediction for the game?
Um, you're gonna get bored of asking me for score predictions, Dan, because every score prediction, I always go into the game thinking we're gonna win 2-1.
Hey, that yeah, I've been having a 2-all throughout this one, so 2-1 is nice.
I can't bring myself to not predict us to win 2-1.
Mm,
It's like you know when you do something that much that now it's just like 2-1. We're just gonna win it 2-1.
mm. Yeah, I get you.
Until we get to Bournemouth, then we're gonna beat Bournemouth 5-0.
Mm.
Early score prediction, we'll thrash them 5-0. That's purely for the fact that I really dislike Bournemouth.
I know that. They would talk about your socials.
Yeah, okay. I run a channel called Turton Talks Football, as you can tell by my name. I don't have a Turton Talks Football Twitter anymore. I deleted it. So I'm just at Luke18652110 on Twitter. I am hopefully planning on doing a deadline day couple of live videos between 6 and 9. I won't be going right up to the deadline because I'm working the next morning, so brilliant. Um, but yeah, that's me on Twitter, and that's basically about it for YouTube kind of stuff because I email a few people. I am on Facebook, but most people that have me on Facebook already have me on Facebook anyway. People don't have to find me. I don't want that many friends on Facebook. So if you really want to talk to me that much, just get at me on Twitter.
So I'd like to say thank you for Luke for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Dan.
Yeah, that's right. Right, I'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So, up to 5.